through tried to help, tried to get her out occasionally, have a little fun.
Oh, Patricia, I'm so happy you could drop by. I haven't seen you for so long.
Well, Millie, I guess I haven't been seeing very many friends lately. The place looks lovely.
No, it's just an overstuffed barn. Well, come on, let's meet the people. Hi, everybody. Look who's here and out of the cocoon. Hi, Selby. Jean. Where's that husband of mine? Oh, darling, look who's here and stunning as usual.
Baby, come to Papa.
Hello, Jean. It's good to see you again.
Say, now that you're a free woman again, some of these gals around here had better start putting leg irons on their husbands.
Oh, you're too housebroken to wonder. Jean, stop staring and get Patricia a drink.
It'll be a pleasure.
Patricia, I want you to meet an old friend of Jean, Philip Nevins. Philip's been traveling in Europe these past few years studying music. Phil, this is Patricia Selby.
Looks like I got back to America just in time.
How do you do, Mr. Nevins? Europe must have been an exciting experience.
Coming home can be an exciting experience, too, Miss Selby.
Phil, call her Patricia. We're old friends. I think I'll leave you two alone for a while. I should know what happens when I send Jean for drinks. He pours one and takes one.
Millie should have warned me that she had such a charming friend.
You're very kind.
And here I'd always supposed that all Millie's friends were old, happily married people.
Well, I was married. I'm divorced.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pry.
I love to hear you play. Would you mind?
Not at all. Any preference?
Darling, where do you think you're going?
Taking a drink to Patricia. What else?
Patricia is doing very nicely, thank you. See what I mean? Butt out.
I see what you mean. Now, there's one little girl will never miss.
Darling, I wish I could say the same about you. Poor thing, she looks like she's been locked in a vault.
Yeah, if I know Jack Selby, that's just what happened.
Those 3 years of marriage must have really been a nightmare.
Yeah.
So wonderful to hear you talk about music and travel and so many other things. I've never met anyone like you before.
I've never met anyone like you either, Patricia. I'm going to see a lot more of you, aren't I?
Well, Philip, you'll be busy preparing for your recital, and after that, your tour.
I'm not going to be busy day and night.
Philip, your music is so important to you. I'm
Patricia,
afraid
music isn't a cold scientific thing. It's alive and real. You're going to be awfully good for my music, Patricia. It becomes richer when there's happiness, when there's love.
That's funny, the light's on in there.
That's nothing. Everyone forgets to turn lights out.
But I didn't forget. I turned them all out before I left. Jack, what are you doing here?
Well, good evening, my dear. May I say you look ravishing, as usual?
How did you get in here?
Darling, aren't you going to introduce me to your friend?
I want to know how you got in here.
Really, Patricia, I've never known you to ride roughshod over the social amenities before. I'm Jack Selby, Patricia's husband.
You're not my husband. We're divorced.
Wouldn't you say that's something of a technicality, my dear? I'm afraid I didn't get your name, sir.
Nevins, Philip Nevins. Just how did you get into the house, Mr. Selby?
The usual way, through the front door.
But I had all the locks changed. How'd you get a key?
A man doesn't like to be locked out of his own house. Don't you agree, Mr. Nevins?
I'm not sure I know what this is all about.
Then I suggest you leave, Mr. Nevins. Perhaps the next time you see my wife, she'll explain certain things to you.
Patricia,
Philip, perhaps you had better leave now.
Excellent idea.
you're sure everything's all right?
Yes, everything's all right. Call me in a day or two.
I will. Remember, I want you to come to the recital.
I'll be there.
Good night, Mr. Nevins.
Jack, what do you want of me?
So that's what you've been doing behind my back. Found somebody to take my place.
Don't touch me!
Don't tell me you really prefer a runt like that to a guy like me.
You're hurting me.
Sure. What does Philip do to you? Play music for you? That's my kind of music. Nobody's going to take my wife away from me. Look at that, baby. There's your answer.
You don't know what you're saying. You're crazy.
There's your answer to Philip Nevins. A big, fat, 38 slug right in the chest. You know what that can do to a man?
You were wonderful, Phil.
Thanks. Good night, everybody.
Nice going, Philip.
And thanks for everything. This young lady and I are going to have a little conference.
Well, can't we have it in public?
Decidedly not. How was I, darling? Seriously.
Philip, you were magnificent. I've never heard music sound like that before.
Patricia, I had to wait until tonight. Until I could prove to myself that I was ready before I felt I could ask you. Patricia, will you marry me the very first day your divorce is final?
Philip, you've got more important things to think of. Your music.
Music isn't everything, darling. There's life to be lived after all.
We'll talk about it when you get back from the tour.
Patricia, is there anything wrong? Are you afraid of anything?
Why should I be afraid of anything?
Then why wait? Darling, the timing's perfect. In 3 weeks, you'll have your final decree. I'll be in San Francisco. Fly out. We can get